No deal.
Brought to you by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment throughout the western United States for over 65 years. Brady Industries Clean Solutions, a tradition for generations. If you're new to the program, here's how it works. We throw out a scenario, usually featuring BYU sports or pop culture, and we decide if it's a big deal or no deal. Number one.
Big deal, no deal. The CFO West cannot overturn the Sai Tautu suspension despite ruling in his favor.
Jason, you do the honors.
Yes, it's a big deal. What are you there for if you can't make changes? If you've gone in and looked at the film and you realize that a mistake was made, I don't care if it was upheld on the field. You're the governing body. Govern. That's your job.
It's ridiculous. Yes. So in that instance, it is a big deal, but I'm going to say no deal because BYU is playing Fresno State. So Sai Tautu not playing a half, I don't think it will have an effect on the game, but goodness, yes. If you're in a governing body, what are you doing? Why? Why have a governing body?
It's like plays in the NFL that are non-reviewable. Well, why aren't they? If we can review other things, just review it all.
Number two.
Big deal, no deal. BYU's offense has rushed for only 82 yards in the last two games combined.
I think it's a big deal. BYU, and we've seen this. BYU's offense is good even without the running game. But when you add the rushing attack, it opens up so much. And that's one of those things that will help sustain those drives, add more plays that we didn't see in the Missouri game.
I'm going to say no deal for now. I'll say it's a big deal if BYU can't run the rock against Fresno State. San Jose State, I'm giving them a pass. They had one starter on the offensive line. Missouri, it was an elite defense, and BYU only had the ball for 20 minutes. So I'm not hitting the panic button yet. If BYU can't run the ball against Fresno State, then yes. Then it really becomes a big deal to me. Number three.
Big deal, no deal. BYU has used 10 different starters along the offensive line.
I'm going first here. I say this is a big deal because our whole topic today has been depth. The one area that BYU has shown signs of weakness in depth is on the offensive line, as it was manifest against San Jose State. When you have to use that many guys, the continuity is not there. It's just tough. It's tough for coaches to deal with a bunch of new look lineups. And so, yeah, that's tough. And I'm hoping, and I think all BYU fans are hoping, that BYU can put out what they had the majority of the season with that original starting five.
Yeah, I'm going to continue my streak saying big deal. It is a big deal for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned, but also not just what the coaches can put out there, but it's continuity on the field. It's other guys knowing who else is going to be there and building that chemistry. So, yeah, it's a big deal.
Number four.
Big deal, no deal. Corbin Kaufusi leading BYU in points versus Long Beach State.
I say this is a big deal because how many times did a post player lead BYU in scoring last year? Or even the year before that? It just does not happen. So to see him make some moves and have a guy like Brad Doherty, who played in the NBA, talk about Corbin positively like that, yeah, I say it is a big deal that Corbin led the team because they now have that much more presence in the post.
I want to say big deal, but I'm looking at it from a different angle. I'm going to say no deal, but the reason I'm saying no deal is because I think there are a lot of people that look at the 17-10 and they look at that as a negative. Well, Look at the inability of the guards to be able to play. Look, Corbin Kaufusi was your leading scorer. People are kind of looking at it as somewhat of a negative, and I don't look at it that way. I think it's a situation where this team has a lot of talent on it, and any given night, somebody besides a guard could go off.
How about that? Brady Industries, the sponsor of Big Deal, No Deal Clean Solutions, a tradition for generations. Our Twitter question today, how much of a concern is the depth for BYU football right now? At COT_BYU football says, with the offensive line, very much so. 2 weeks in a row where our running game has not even been close to phenomenal. Again, I say to my opinion, I run the ball against Fresno State, and I think BYU is just fine.